Dan Illman, Mike Beer kicking off the Pick 6 on Breeders' Cup Saturday at Santa Anita with race number 7, the filly and mare turf. We're going 1.25 miles on the grass. A Grade 1 race, $2 million is the purse. Our coverage is supported today by Racing Blue Storm. Speed and power for longer. This is a breakthrough in sports nutrition for horses designed by nature, improved by science. Racing Blue Storm. Here's the field for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. We've got Sister Charlie, the winner of this race last year, the dominant female in this division in 2019. She's only run 3 starts. She has destroyed fields in quality Grade 1 races. And Mike, she is simply the one to beat.
Yeah, she's way the horse to beat in here. She caught a big scratch earlier in the week, and it just makes her double tough now, Dan. And she is, as you say, she's the dominant filly or mare in this division and has been for the last 2 years.
And she's got her friend setting the pace as a rabbit as we take a look at the Timeform U.S. pace projector. The 6th, Thais, she's here for one reason. Go as fast as she can for as far as she can and set things up for Sister Charlie. Not that Sister Charlie really needs the help. This pace should be fast because the horse drawn directly inside of Thais, Mirth, she's fast too.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, Mirth wants to be forward in her races. I guess more than anything else, maybe Thais doesn't necessarily help Sister Charlie. She hurts Mirth.
She might help the Europeans because, you know, they want a little bit of pace to set up their closing kick, and one of them drew inside. That's the one, Iridessa, multiple Group 1 winner this year, Pretty Polly Stakes winner, Matron Stakes winner, getting Lasix for the first time. Nice inside post here. Firm ground should not be a problem for this horse. She was a Group 1 winner on Good to Firm overseas as a 2-year-old. She's been a consistent horse, and I'm willing to just forgive that Irish Oaks. I think 1.5 miles is just too far for her.
Yeah, I agree with that. She's a 3-time Group 1 winner. She's a quality 3-year-old filly, that's for sure. I sort of look at her and wonder if 1 mile maybe isn't a better distance for her overall. But you know what? Her Pretty Polly was good, Dan, and she seemed like she finished pretty strong in that race.
Now the story of the race. Sister Charlie, winner of this race last year, seeking her 7th consecutive victory. Here's her winner prep, the Flower Bowl. Thais made the lead. You see Sister Charlie getting ready to pounce on the outside. Right behind her is Mississippi, who really gave a bang-up effort. For a brief moment, it looked like maybe she could give Sister Charlie a tussle. Sister Charlie just too much hoss in the final 70 yards, but all credit to Mississippi getting good at the right time, perhaps.
Yeah, not a bad effort at all for Mississippi. It did sort of feel like Sister Charlie only doing what was required there to win that race, but still Mississippi ran well. Listen, Sister Charlie, you know, as we already talked about, she's way the horse to beat in here. 2 Dianas, 2 Beverly D's. Now she'll go for 2 Breeders' Cups. She is a really good horse. She has an elite resume for a horse in this division, and she's just going to take a ton of beating in here.
That's Hall of Fame credentials to be sure. And she's already beaten the number 3 Fleeting. She did so in the Beverly D. Fleeting didn't have the greatest trip in that race. I don't think she was beating Sister Charlie with a clear run. She did not have a good trip in the Prix de l'Opera 2 starts back at Longchamp. She came back with a good 4th in the British Champions, a race where, I don't know, maybe a little soft that ground was for her. It certainly was soft in France. Firm going is okay for Fleeting, and she gets the great Ryan Moore once again.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. Her Beverly D, you know, she did have a little trouble early in that race, but the pace was fast, and it just felt like she was running too late in there, never really threatened Sister Charlie. I do think she's improved since they've taken her back home to Europe. She's run pretty well in a couple of those races. The race 2 back, she was really running at the end of that race. It was too late, but she was finishing very strongly. She had a world of trouble last time, unable to get clear. I think she has a big excuse for that race. It feels like she's an improved horse, then. We'll see if she brings that form back over here this time.
Bilston Brooks won the English 1,000 Guineas at 66-1 last year. It looks like she's coming back to form as a 4-year-old. She's won 3 out of her last 4 races, and I kind of like the things she's done. The problem is, it seems like she's a miler, and they're going to stretch her all the way out to 1.25 miles here against Sister Charlie. It just seems like a big ask. I think she's talented enough to get a piece of this at a big price.
I agree. It feels like they're just going to stretch her out now. If nothing else, they're doing it at the right time because she's in really good form right now. So maybe she will handle the added distance in here. She's got a couple of quality wins, but the distance is going to be a big test for her in this race.
Mirth became a graded 1 winner last time out in the Rodeo Drive, and she did it over this distance and this turf course, and she also got a nice easy early lead and a great ride from Mike Smith. Mirth seems at her best at this point in her career. Earlier in her career, she liked to rate and finish. She likes to control things up front right now. Smith gave her a great ride. This is a big step up in class, and she has to deal with the rabbit. But I can foresee a situation where there's at some point in this race, maybe the 3/8 pole, where she actually makes the front.
Yeah, maybe she can sit the right trip and just take over around that final turn, and then we'll see what she has left to hold off what should be a bunch of quality closers coming after her. I give her a lot of credit for becoming a grade 1 winner last time, but she got loose on the lead in there, and she can't get that trip this time. She ran pretty well back too. She got cooked on a fast pace. I don't know, Dan. She has to take another step forward as far as I'm concerned.
Thais, for a rabbit, she's pretty good. She's a couple of grade 1 placings on her resume. 3rd in the 2018 Beverly D, 3rd in the Flower Bowl last time out. But that's not her job, really, I don't think, in this race. Her job in here is to go fast and set it up for Sister Charlie. 30-1 on the morning line. I think you and I would probably agree that those two horses probably should be coupled.
They should be coupled in this race. She's lasted for 3rd a couple of times. It's funny, both times when she did that, in races where, as a rabbit, she didn't go that fast on the early lead for some reason. I don't think that will be the case on Saturday. I think she'll be out there rolling.
Vasilika ran 3rd in the First Lady last time out. They cut her back to a mile. She's very capable at a mile, and she came with a good solid run, just didn't have the kick of Uni. Let's take them through the stretch drive.
Yeah, Uni's just rolling down the outside. I think all in all, for Vasilika to be 3rd in this race, not too bad, Dan. She never looks like she's going to win. You can just see her sort of grinding on at the end of the race to get up for 3rd. Maybe the mile's a little sharp for her, but I also feel like the 1.25 miles might not be her best distance either. She's a really good horse. They've done great work with her since she's gotten out to California. I don't want to take anything away from her, but this feels like a tough spot to me. 12
starts at Santa Anita, 11 wins, 1 second. She loves life at the great race place. She's won 18 of 35 lifetime, one of the great claims of all time, taken for $40,000. Castle Lady, lightly raced, lots of upside. She's a 3-year-old filly. She won the French 1,000 Guineas earlier this year, and she made her North American debut in the QE2 Cup. It was a race where Cambier Park had the best trip. Just got to an easy early lead. Cambier Park in excellent form. We see Castle Lady right behind in the Godolphin Blue. She had the second best trip in this race, I thought. She eased out. She has a chance at Cambier Park. Cambier Park just a little bit too hearty. Tough spot stepping up in class here against older horses for the first time.
Yeah, I agree. She's a pretty talented 3-year-old filly, but she's got to take on more distance now. And she's taken on, no knocks on Cambier Park. She's had a really good season as a 3-year-old. This filly's taken on some much better horses this time.
Villa Marina has won her last 3 races at this 1.25 distance, and I think that's the key for her. Throw out the Prix Vermeil 2 starts back. It's 1.5 miles. It's too far for her. Last time out, it was soft ground that she might have really loved, and she might have had a better trip than Fleeting. But I just loved the way she was traveling into the straight, covered up till about the 2 furlong pole. Once she eased out and was produced with her run, she came with a good one. She made the lead. Here comes Fleeting on the outside. Villa Marina was able to hold her off. I think she's got all the upset potential in the world in this race. She's got a true veteran riding, Olivier Peslier.
Yeah, I agree with all that. This is her distance. I think this is exactly what she wants to do. Her last 3 races over this trip have all been really good. I get that Fleeting was really finishing strong last time, but this filly, she finished pretty well in that race in her own right, taking it over and holding on at the end. This is a pretty good 3-year-old.
Mississippi, we saw chase Sister Charlie in a game effort in the Flower Bowl. Prior to that, she won the Glens Falls at 1 3/8. I don't want to completely dismiss this horse because Graham Motion has got her seeing dead red since taking over the training over the summer. I kind of have an opinion that maybe she's better at slightly longer distances, but give her pace, she's going to come rolling.
Yeah, and she should have pace in this race too. You know what? She was cut out to be a pretty good horse over there. It feels like she came back off the layoff this year and for whatever reason had totally lost her form overseas, but they got her over here. Maybe Lasix is what she needed, Dan. She's run really well in both of her starts over here.
The 11 Just Wonderful goes out for Aiden O'Brien. Do you feel she's a little bit exposed? She was a Group 2 winner as a 2-year-old. She had trouble in the Belmont Oaks behind Concrete Rose, a really sharp horse, and she ran well against Iridessa in that Matron Stakes 2 starts back. But I don't know, I just think she's had her chances now against Group 1 competition, and she's been found wanting.
Yeah, that's how I look at her too. I just feel like we kind of know what she is at this point. They've tried to drop her back in distance for her last 2 races, and that hasn't worked out. Now they'll stretch her out again. I don't know, Dan. I think she just has to take a big step forward in here.
It's a lousy post position, but the number 12, Fannie Logan, has won 4 consecutive races. It seems like she really appreciates a 1.25 miles. She is bred to the 9s, and she's trained by one of the best in the business in John Gosden. She also picks up Frankie Dettori yet again. At 15-1, I'm using this horse somewhere.
I'm using this horse too. She's been in really good form. I realized that she's going to have to improve again to beat this field, but that's all she's been doing lately. She just keeps improving from race to race to race. She was really good winning last time. I don't see how you leave this horse out at a price.
Let's take a look at our top selections now for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. We agree that Villa Marina might be the most likely upsetter to Sister Charlie. We like her races at a 1.25 miles. She's going to get some pace. She'll obviously be a better price. Sister Charlie is just way the horse to beat. She is our second selection. I went 9-2-4-12. You went 9-2-3-12.
Yeah, I'm not way against Sister Charlie. She's way the horse to beat here, but I like what I've seen from Villa Marina. This is her trip. I'm hoping she gets a good one and makes a race of it.
It is the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf, kicking off the Pick 6 at Santa Anita on Saturday, race number 7. Our coverage supported today by Racing Blue Storm, a breakthrough in sports nutrition for horses. Best of luck.